I'm looking for a little personnel breakdown.
Go
Always
for
love the personnel breakdown. Logan, we'll start with you. Who needs to pop this week? What have you seen the first couple games that makes you think that, okay, even though we won 2 games, we need to see some improvement here, there, what units, what players, or who's really impressing you? All that personnel kind of breakdown.
It's clear for me, and it was this way since we saw Fabien Lovett go down, and I think he'll be. We'll see what his availability will be on Friday night. Coach hasn't given us a confirmation on if he will be or not, but either way, no matter what, I'm expecting to see a lot of Jarett Jackson, who was a Louisville player there on that defensive line. I thought he had a really good spring. He impressed me by a ton, and then fall camp, he's done what he's needed to do. And I thought, too, coming into the game against LSU, looked nice. I mean, he kind of sets the tone there for that defense whenever he's coming in, and that's exactly what you'd like for a guy to jump in when need be, when someone isn't able to play in that interior line between Robert Cooper and Fabien Lovett. Your go-to is Jarett Jackson. Monster size. One big thing about him is just he's got to play down to the pad level. That's one thing that he likes to play high, and that's a lot easier for the offensive line to block him. If he's able to get down and wreak some havoc on Friday night, Florida State will win this game. Jarett Jackson has to have a big game on Friday night. I'm expecting to see a lot of him, number 12 there, and that's probably my number one player. I'm not talking Jared Verse. I'm not talking Jordan Travis. If you can go ahead and start opening up that offensive line, Mark, on Friday night, start causing problems there, that'll allow a lot easier of a game for your linebackers, which are going to have another sharp game dealing with a dual threat quarterback with Kalen DeLoach, DJ Lundy, and Tatum Bethune, who have had a nice start to the season. Shout out to Randy Shannon. Jarett Jackson's going to have to start off that domino effect for Florida State's defense, because they're going to have to once again play against a talented quarterback that not only can throw when he needs to, but he'll take advantage of you with this run game. But he's going to have to get back there, and he's going to have to start. He's going to have to set the tone on Friday night.
Do you ever think you'd shout out Randy Shannon?
No, that's something that I'm waiting one more game before we start spending about a 10-minute segment on. Wow, okay, so Florida State linebackers are. Nope, can't say it yet. We'll wait until if they look good on Friday night. But we're slowing it down. I did give them a shout out, though, a little nice one. I mean, they've done well so far. I've loved the way Kalen DeLoach and Tatum Bethune have played, and DJ Lundy looks like he's in so much better shape. I've loved how Kalen DeLoach has been flying around. I mean, just watching him, just as a college football fan, watching him and Tatum Bethune. Tatum Bethune's he's smart. He's got the experience, but watching Kalen DeLoach deliver some of these hits and then also be reading the motions that are going on and coming in east to west and not allowing yards on the outside runs, it's fun to watch when you're watching film. So I just got to give a shout out there to that linebacker room. But Jarett Jackson's got to have a big game. Jason, what about you on Friday night?
I want to see more. I think the position the most, and I don't want to single out one player, but I kind of will a little bit here, is the run game. Because you have a run game that we were sitting there praising after, and yes, I know that there's a much different talent level between Duquesne to LSU. LSU is 10 times of a step up from Duquesne. That being said, you go from 406 rushing yards against Duquesne to 132 against LSU. In particular, Trayshawn Ward. Trayshawn Ward, we were sitting here calling him a Doak Walker Award candidate. Oh, he's an amazing running back and whatnot. And then he has less than 50 yards against LSU. I need to see more from that running game, because I think Jordan Travis wants this win. Former Louisville player, after what happened last season, after what happened in 2020 with the debacle in Louisville, I think he's going to be fine. I think we saw him be able to win a game with both his arm. We know he can win with his legs, and now we know he can win with his arm. I need to see that running game. I'm going to put the onus on Trayshawn Ward. If you want to be that leader of that running back group, you need to go out. I'm not saying you need to have 150 yards and 3 touchdowns, but I need him to have more than 49 yards on 16 carries, 49 yards was what he had against LSU. So I need him to have at least 80 yards, at least a touchdown, to be able to take some of the pressure off Jordan Travis.
Florida State should be able to take advantage of the run there a lot. I mean, obviously Duquesne game, those 3 guys, you're going to do that against that type of opponent. LSU wasn't working, so they had to adjust with it, and Jordan Travis was able to get down the field with the passing game. Definitely very successful on third down, but UCF allowing the yards that they did, Florida State's got its more talented running back room, better coached. I mean, you're just more talent back there in that backfield, and so you're looking at Trey Benson, who I'm excited to see some more out of him. Lawrence Toafili, who was the most improved this fall camp per Mike Norvell, and like you said, Trayshawn Ward's the leader of this room. And no one's saying that he hasn't looked good. He has looked really smooth. He's looked good. He looks like a starting running back for Florida State. He looks good, but they should, and that's not working out. Florida State's got to adjust there, but that I don't think that's going to change in a matter of 2 weeks there for what Louisville's been doing there on defense. It's not going to be easy against Florida State's run game, which also you got to give a nice shout out to the offensive line for opening up those holes for these guys going down the field, which you are, worth noting, you are bringing back a fully healthy, ready to go offensive line on Friday night, which is something we haven't been able to say in a long while on a third game of the year. Florida State is bringing back their entire starting offensive line, except for Bless Harris. He's been announced that he'll miss the rest of the season, but you had Jazz Turnitin in last game against LSU, held his own. Still a lot of things to work on. Coach Atkins wants more consistency out of him, and they will get that. Coach Atkins is not an easy coach. There are no easy practices, so I'm expecting Jackson in a couple games to get into a rhythm here because he's got to work on his consistency, but I did like the way that he handled as much as he could there against LSU. You got to give a shout out for the offensive line for opening up these holes for the running backs.
Focusing on Louisville for just 1 second before we get into the prediction part of the show here. You got Malik Cunningham. He threw for 200. Let's just focus on the UCF game, their past game. Threw for 200 yards, ran for over 100 yards on the ground. If you're Florida State's defense, do you want Malik Cunningham to have to, and once again, let's give him credit, he's a good quarterback. Do you want him to try to have to beat you with his legs or with his arm? What are you putting more pressure? Are you trying to stop him from his running or trying to stop him from his throwing?
I'd probably want to stop him from his running. Let him throw. Florida State, I feel like, and I got to knock on wood, has done a pretty good job of not allowing these explosive plays like we've seen since last season, definitely in the years prior. Just coverages being absolutely blown open. And, Akeem Dent talked about it earlier with us during the bye week, said, there's some things that they saw against LSU where there's a few things they didn't communicate too well on. Adam Fuller talked about it this week, saying, there was just a missed assignment here and there, but they felt pretty good at what they saw on film that guys were in the right areas. And Malik Cunningham, he's going to throw it quite a bit no matter what. He's going to be throwing it, but I'd rather him do more of that than allowing him to run and get down the field and get easy first downs to lead them down the field, start running clock, all this kind of stuff where it puts the favor into Louisville Cardinals' hands. And Coach Satterfield make him have to throw down there, make him have to throw to these safeties with Jamie Robinson and Akeem Dent. Akeem Dent having a phenomenal play back against LSU. Not allowing a touchdown there. That's an NFL type kind of caliber play by him. Make him have to throw to these defensive backs with Renardo Green and Marion Cooper. Make him have to do that. Make him have to be a passing quarterback in this game because we know he's got wheels. He did it over 121 something yards against UCF. He's got the wheels. So make him have to throw a little bit. And I say that because Louisville did lose. I mean, he's still got some talent there at wide receiver, and they got a tight end that could play too. But you don't have the threats of last year there at wide receiver. So
Mark, put some respect on our name. We're 2.5-point favorites over Louisville. All right, give us that half point. Put some respect
now. Maybe
put some two. Okay, we'll go with 2.5.
Put some respect on our name, Mark. We haven't been a favorite much of late, so come on, give us our half point.
We will jump right on that. Get on that.
Yeah. I'm trying
Big
to think
mistake out of me. There we go.
For entertainment purposes only.
Of course. For entertainment purposes only.